What's up everyone and welcome on back to the channel. Superman came out and did phenomenal at the box office, making $123 million opening weekend, being the best opening for a solo Superman movie, and has kickstarted a brand new franchise with the DCU. And they did all of this by doing what every other studio is afraid to do in this day and era. They weren't afraid to piss people off. The past DC regime created an insanely toxic fandom, worshipping a director as a god, and in the past, they fed this fandom, bowing down to their needs, but with Superman, they decided to go against them. They also got political with Superman, even though their statements were not political at all, but nonetheless, it got them quite a bit of coverage, calling Superman too woke, something every studio is afraid of because they don't want any bad coverage about their film, and they're too afraid of pissing people off, thinking that they'll lose money because of this. But Superman proved all of that wrong. So I wanted to dive into Superman and DC's strategy of rejecting the past fan base, how they weren't afraid to make certain choices they knew would land them on the front page of every single extreme right-wing outlet, and what every single movie studio should learn from this. But before we get into all that, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do deep dives on the film and TV industry, and I'm almost at 500 subscribers, so if you want to tag along, I'd love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, but let's get into it. So back in 2022, Warner Brothers decided to clean their slate of past DC films and bring in James Gunn and Peter Safran. And one look at Twitter would tell you that this is a bad idea. Ever since Zack Snyder's Man of Steel came out, a new fandom was born, the Snyder Bros, as they call them, and they were so pissed about this update, not only for sidelining their favorite director in the world, Zack Snyder, but also for sidelining their Superman, Henry Cavill, who had just been brought back in October of that same year. And this was a huge change for Warner Brothers, because they had a pattern for catering and rewarding this toxic fandom. And before we dive in any further, I'm not talking about people who just like Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman. There's nothing inherently wrong with liking a movie. You can like whatever you want to like. I'm talking about the people who review bomb shit before it comes out, or they attack people online for not liking their movie, or they claim they just don't get it because they're intellectually superior for understanding Man of Steel, or for shitting on a movie months before it comes out, or hashtagging wanting to get people fired because they think as a fandom they are entitled and they have a say in this fandom, which they do not. Those are the people that I am talking about. Now, if you are upset about that and you want to drop a hate comment, congrats, you are one of those toxic people. But most people who liked Man of Steel or liked Batman vs Superman are not these toxic people I am talking about. But these toxic people do exist online and they are very loud. And because they are so loud, Warner Brothers listened to them. Back in 2017, Justice League came out and it was complete shit. It's well known that unfortunately Zack Snyder had to step away from his directing duties on Justice League because his daughter unfortunately passed from suicide. Warner was already unhappy with the project, however, and brought on Joss Whedon to reshoot parts of it. Because of this, fans started demanding a director's cut version of this movie, asking them to release the Snyder Cut, and that's how we got Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021. And yeah, it was a better movie than the one we got in 2017. However, it was 4 fucking hours long. That should not qualify as a movie. And in my opinion, Warner Brothers should not have done this. It only made them more feral online, creating a new movement to restore the Snyderverse, and gave them proof that if they bitch enough online, they will get what they want. And this type of behavior has continued all throughout the entire campaign of Superman, with tweets making fun of every single clip that they released online, tweets hoping that the movie fails, and more calls to fire James Gunn and Peter Safran, and plans on Reddit to reserve tickets online but don't buy them. The last one got so bad that the actual subreddit condemned them, stating that their staff never approved of the post. Like, what do you mean staff? You're not a fucking company, you're a subreddit. And James Gunn actually kind of added fuel to the fire, responding to a post asking about this Reddit post, and he stated, "We'll probably be fine." And this angered so many people on Twitter, and the calls to fire Gunn, not see Superman, and restore the Snyderverse just kept on going. Now, any other studio would be kind of afraid of these people. Lately, studios have been catering to online hatred and changing things in their movies just so they won't piss off people online. This was reported by Variety back in October of last year that this is actually happening. There's this new trend in film to make something so middle of the road, not taking any big swings, so every single person is happy and no one can complain online. But here's the thing, that film doesn't fucking exist. No film does that. And the people bitching online will bitch about anything. You cannot please them. The moment Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, they immediately started bitching again. And these people online are a very minimal amount of people who are either so small you don't need to worry about them, or will go see it anyways just to hate. Hate watching is such a huge thing in today's culture. They will bitch, they will moan, they will call for your downfall, and yet still go see the thing that they've been bitching about for months. That way they can dunk about it online for all the little likes that they get, because that's all their sad, pathetic life is about. And this weekend proved that. Superman did just fine at the box office, even though all these little people online couldn't stop saying it was going to flop. They ignored them and carried on, something every studio should do. And DC didn't just ignore one group of moronic, hate-filled morons, they ignored another. James Gunn made a comment stating that Superman is an immigrant and it is a political movie. And of course, your grandpa's favorite trash TV program picked it up and immediately called it woke Superman. Which, as with most things, Superman has always been that way. People are just now more reactive and they're incredibly stupid, calling anything woke they inherently disagree with. Superman is an immigrant, that is a fact. He was a refugee from a planet and came to Earth illegally, and it has been that way since 1938, and the creators were children of immigrants. But the dum-dums at Fox News ignored all of this and said that now he is so woke that he fights for pronouns and has MS-13 superimposed on his cape. These were jokes, they were joking around, but honestly, it's getting a little hard to tell when Fox News is actually joking about things nowadays. An even flop of an actor, Dean Cain, came back from his 8-hour shift of doing cameos to comment about how Superman is woke and how they're changing characters to fit modern times. Are you talking about the character Superman who did not actually fly when he first came out? Or have heat vision? Or have x-ray vision? Characters change all the time, Dean Cain. But the immigrant part has never changed. Maybe you should have taken a few notes, Dean Cain, from when you played Superman on your show, Superman and Lois.
We just need a quick look at your green card.
Green card.
You are an alien, are you not?
Superman!
This is a tad different from the Snyder Bros hate, because unlike them, these extreme right-wing morons do actually have a national platform and can actually do something with all of their hatred. They can spew their nonsense and have their dumb followers do whatever they say. They do kind of have some power here, and I believe James Gunn likely knew his comments were going to be taken by these people. James Gunn has been targeted by extreme right-wingers before, and that's why he was initially fired from the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie. Any other studio or campaign would drastically try to do some damage control after this came out, especially this close to opening weekend, but Superman did not give a shit. When asked on the red carpet, they didn't necessarily walk anything back. He doubled down on his initial quote that was not really reported on, and he said Superman is all about kindness, and that's what this movie really is about.
So what do you have to say to MAGA?
You know, I think this is a movie about kindness, and I think that's something everyone can relate to.
And even his brother, Sean Gunn, doubled down more than James did.
If you don't like that, then you're not American. People who say no to immigrants are against the American way. They're against what the American dream is all about.
Now, every studio is afraid of this, and they're afraid of this whole go woke, go broke nonsense, even though that's largely been proven false. Barbie came out and it was touted as this woke feminist movie, and it was met with a ton of hate online from the right-wing media, and yet it made over $1 billion at the box office. Stop saying go woke, go broke. It doesn't fucking work. Studios need to realize that some of these people weren't gonna go fucking see your movie anyways. So who gives a shit what they think? And then the same thing with the Snyder Bros. They'll go see it just to hate on it. Just like how Ben Shapiro went to go see Superman right after he was done making his wife dry. They'll cry, it's woke, it's woke, it's woke, and then still give you their money. They are some of the dumbest motherfuckers in the world. Studios need to stop worrying about taking a stand or pissing off the wrong person. Listening to toxic fandom is dumb as shit, and it only leads to shit. I think we all remember when The Rise of Skywalker came out and retconned everything in The Last Jedi just because of the toxic ass fans online. and we were met with a shit movie trying too hard to please everyone. We all need to realize that online beef and online people are not real. They are just incredibly fucking loud. Most of this hate comes from Twitter, which only has 388 million monthly active users in a population of over 7 billion. You cannot use Twitter to find out if real people are mad. Online hate means nothing in this day and era where hate-filled YouTubers and Twitter accounts get actively rewarded for hating something. It's been well proven that negativity drives online consumption, but that doesn't mean that's how real people actually are. And Superman ignored all of this online hate in multiple ways, one of which was even in the actual movie, making fun of them, equating them to a bunch of monkeys, and yet they were still met with success. Now, will this film have legs? That remains to be determined. The international opening was a little weak, but this movie wasn't necessarily about making money. It was about restoring a brand. The past DC regime was an incredibly mixed bag. Yes, some of them made money, a lot of them didn't, and a lot of them were just not critically acclaimed. Was that Zack Snyder's fault? No, not at all. I mean, some of it, sure, but not all of it. Warner Brothers' handling of DC was incredibly mismanaged, and because it was so mismanaged, the brand was incredibly tarnished, and this is their chance to slowly bring people back. Let them know that this DC will be different. Much like how Batman Begins was not a huge hit, or even Iron Man wasn't a massive hit by today's standards. They want the general public back, and that does not include listening to toxic fans who think they own this franchise. Now, fandom isn't inherently bad. It can bring people together, create a community of people who love something. Even the good parts of Zack Snyder's fandom raised over $500,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That's the fandom worth having. And because they ignored the toxic part of that fandom, weren't afraid to piss people off, they were met with a great opening weekend. Superman didn't just reboot a franchise, they rebooted how Hollywood should deal with toxic fandom, and I hope more studios are taking notes. If you haven't checked out Superman, definitely check it out. It is such a fun Superman movie that will make you laugh and make you feel so many emotions. If you already saw it, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like and comment, as it does help push the videos out, and please subscribe for more weekly videos about movies and TV. If you subscribe, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.